Welcome to the CI Conference Center. Please enter your access code followed by the pound sign. Thank you. Please stand by. You are being placed into conference in listen-only mode. There are 4 participants in the conference.
As was discussed on Wednesday and peripherally yesterday, I do intend to, unless the board members have any substantial concerns, I do intend to initiate some correspondence to the Attorney General, General Clarkson, asking for an opinion to the board concerning the status of AMCO enforcement officers as peace officers, particularly under Title 1738. We took action a number of years ago to convey powers to them on our behalf, and as has been noted both by Director McConnell, by Chief Holscher, there are some concerns about the relationship between DPS, the Commissioner's Office, Department of Public Safety, and AMCO and AMCO enforcement, and those issues, as was noted yesterday quite clearly by Director McConnell, include officer safety, because the DPS actually controls, in some ways, access to resources that they need, to do their job safely, and as well, the resources they need to conduct investigations. The fact that there have been only a couple of criminal investigations conducted and pursued by AMCO enforcement is not reflective of the lack of criminal activity in their jurisdiction. It's perhaps more reflective of the unwillingness of prosecutors to pick cases up. So, unless the board members have any concerns, I'll be putting together some correspondence, and I'll CC the board so they can see what it says, but we'll be doing that in fairly quick order. So with that, Director, any morning comments for us?
No, thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, very good. Then we will get to cultivated confections. Good morning.
Good morning, Jan Levine, attorney for Cultivated Confections.
James Brotzman, President, Cultivated Confections.
Good morning. Well, first of all, I would like to say that whoever wrote your application has been paying close attention to what we say here at the meetings, because it says colors dull and duller.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you have in mind here.
James Brotzman, President. Like I mentioned before, we are going to open up a concentrate and edible manufacturing facility
In
Anchorage.
Right. All right. Turn this thing on here. Where are you guys located at in town?
Off Shune Street, which is off of King Street.
Seems to be a popular neighborhood.
It is a popular neighborhood. It's really industrial.
A couple of general
You bet.
questions, Mr. Chair. On the MJ00 form, you listed a couple licenses, 17272 and 17273. I found 17273 down on Ship Avenue, and it was initiated. I never find anything in our database on 17272. When I went to licensing check and I put that license number in, it kept coming up, didn't find anything.
I believe we rescinded that one because that location didn't end up working, but I cannot recall. But we did initiate it, but it's not going to be moving forward.
Okay. All right, well, I just was trying to go from the MJ00 that we have before us, and I couldn't find it.
17272?
Yeah.
Okay, it's still showing as initiated in
It's
the
still showing as
database.
initiated? Okay, so yeah, we just need to pull that back, but that's why I was...
Because when I did the search, it didn't show up. 7.3 showed up, but 7.2 didn't.
Talked with IT about getting, so licenses in initiated status don't show up in the search for some reason, and so I've asked IT to include those in the search.
I had to go to the Excel spreadsheet, and
Right.
scroll down and try to find
Yeah.
the right city and which block it might have been in, and, yeah, it's very hard to find.
We're working on it.
Okay, thanks.
Says on the, MJ01, page 2, 3.2, describe record keeping. No person except the cultivated confection employer or James, then with the exception of alcohol enforcement. Oh, you're James. Okay. Okay.
His middle name is Casey.
Okay.
So he goes by Casey.
All right.
James Casey Proxman.
All right. Okay. So as the president, you'll have a handler card, and be basically an employee of the company.
As required by the regs, yep.
Right. Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
The other question I had, you just said the application was good, was on one of the products, if I might.
Go ahead.
On the dank star distillate. I looked at that and, it talks about the packaging in 0.5 gram, 1 gram portions. It'll be in a jar and all this other stuff. And that's fine, because you would be selling that product, I assume, to retailers. However, dank star distillate is the concentrate used in the edibles. But you never talk in the product description how you will store the wholesale, how you will keep it segregated, how, So when you're talking about how you're going to package up the distillate, you're going to do two, wholesale for internal use, either in jars and how you're going to do that. So you might want to look at that description and talk about both uses, that it's, oftentimes product manufacturers say, this is a concentrate I'm going to sell, concentrate for wholesale, and so they describe different packaging. If you're going to do both, you need to describe both kinds of packaging.
Okay, that makes sense.
What's a wiped film short path molecular sill?
That's to create the distillate, to get it up to temperature and pull the waxes and all that stuff that you don't want out of it.
It's like a heater.
Yeah, like a still, basically.
Still. Oh, it's S-T-I-L-L.
Like making...
S-I-L-L. It's okay, you said dull and duller, so that's good.
That's good.
We'll give you a pass on this one. Are you gonna be, is the Dark Star distillate's gonna be just an in-house product?
No, that's what Mr. Jones was getting at and added for the delegation, that, because we have it packaged correctly for retail in 0.5 grams and grams, because it can fit dab, but it's also used in the edibles, so we're going to add the delegation, assuming this passes, add the wholesale storage and explain how it goes into the edibles.
Okay, and you'll have the wholesale,
Gee.
well, wholesale and your in-house packaging, I guess
I guess wholesale meaning to ourselves, him.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
you don't have to sell it to yourselves.
No, but you know what I mean, the
You're gonna keep it
packaging.
in, like in a mayonnaise jar, you
Yeah.
get a bunch of it at once, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, most of the ones that keep it for wholesale, they describe, quart jars, they just, we generally ask, how are you gonna track it? You're gonna keep the labels in the batch, you'll keep the RFI tag on it, until you put it in the product and all that stuff, and
That's right.
usually they describe that, and that's missing here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we're,
I think I know a guy who makes wholesale labeling.
he's there, I see him.
Shameless promotion.
I'll tell ya. Okay, are there any other, and this is my first comment when I look at the diagram, is, Connexes, but it's a unit, right? You're in a...
Correct. It's a multi-unit facility, and they're cut off in about 1,000 square foot small warehouse space.
Okay.
I think there's a limited grow over here
Is there?
in the same unit.
Currently in that mall, there's another concentrate company, a couple limited grows in a dispensary.
Okay. All right. Any other questions on the application?
Motion to approve license 20532, cultivated confections,
With delegation.
with delegation.
And,
And, oh, no, go back.
No, we gotta deny it.
Motion to deny license 20532, uphold the municipality protest with
120 days.
120 days abeyance.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. And with delegation after the protest is removed. So, on that motion, Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
I'm a yes, so took care of that.
Thank you.
And now on to...
Thank you for everybody's time.
Stay there.
Mr. Chair?
Okay, all right, sir.
I would move that, the cultivated, convections products, 1, Alaska Coastal Candies, 2, Anchorman's, 3, Dank Star Distillate, and 4, Dank Star Rosin be approved.
All right. Take one more quick look at the people on that.
Did you want to include the delegation regarding, the packaging
Oh,
in that movement?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I can include that delegation. I assumed it was also part of the application, but I will include the packaging on Dank Star Distillate.
So this PGA, where are you getting that from? Not Brown Jug. 190 proof, Everclear.
Excuse me, can you repeat that question?
Yeah, where are you guys getting your Everclear from?
Unfortunately, the liquor store.
190 proof. They don't sell 190 proof.
Or you can order it too, online. Right.
I thought it was 190 proof that I bought from the liquor store after I bought the concentrate when I
Right.
prototyped the product.
Oh, really?
And which liquor store would that have been?
I'll have to double check the label there. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, it was Everclear. Hopefully it was with
It was
label.
probably Everclear, but it wasn't 190 proof. They've knocked it down.
Correct.
Yeah, so it was there. It was PGA, it just wasn't that pure.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the motion to approve, products 1 through 4 for cultivated confections, Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
And I'm a yes, so there you go. Good morning.
Thank you for your guys' time.
You bet, thank you. Okay, now we get into ownership transfers. Odin's Wagon. Morning.
Morning, Lord. That's on, correct?
Yes, red's on. Yep.
I'm Eric Ranget, owner and president of Ace of Spades LLC, doing business as Odin's Wagon.
Okay, and you wanna, so you just swapping the name around here?
Well, I mean, I'm still going with Odin's Wagon, I just swapped LLC, it's my own entity.
Is from Odin's Wagon LLC, DBA Odin's Wagon LLC to Ace of Spades LLC,
Yes, correct.
DBA Odin's Wagon, okay. Okay. Okay, so you're taking some people off,
Yeah, all the people are coming off, going into my name.
so they'll no longer be affiliated with license.
No, correct.
Okay. How's cultivating going for you?
It's been going good. I've been a consultant there since 2017. I've also consulted and started up a grow for AK Joint Ventures here in Anchorage, and I did a lot of consulting on the peninsula for probably a half dozen different outfits, just kind of helping them get along.
Okay, so how many people are coming off the ownership here?
4 members.
They just getting out of the industry, or?
Yeah, it was just a little bit more than they thought. It's more of a 7 days a week,
Yeah, that trimming
8
can
to
get off
12
the
hours a
tires,
day
yeah.
type job. Those guys are ready more to retire. It was a little surprising, this industry is real tough. You gotta work all the time if you wanna do well.
Yep.
It's more of a young guy's thing.
Okay, staff, you didn't have any issues with any questions there?
No.
Okay, is there a motion? Yeah, go ahead.
Chair,
Go ahead.
I would move that, the board approve the, ownership change for license 10034, currently Odin's Wagon LLC.
With Kenai Peninsula Borough, conditions.
So one would assume those conditions would have been placed on the original license, so it'd probably be good to just put on the record that the conditions remain.
Okay, with the Kenai Borough conditions.
Okay, very good. All those in favor of the ownership transfer, license 10034 Odin's Wagon LLC, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you, sir.
You bet. Okay, operating plan changes, Good LLC. See if they're on the phone here. Oh, okay. There you go. Good morning.
Morning.
What do you do for you?
My name is Barrett Godot. I'm a cultivation manager for Good LLC, and we're looking for operation plan change, just to change our packaging, our vape cartridges.
And what's the change that you want to do?
We were in Mylar, and we want to go to these child-proof cardboard boxes.
Okay. Bring one with you?
I actually did not. I should have. Sorry.
That's all right.
You saw one
Yeah,
last
that box looks familiar. That box looks very good.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I just have one question. One of the pictures that you put in here where it shows the cartridge in the, box,
Yes, sir.
and if that's the scale, that's a pretty big box for a little cartridge. Are you doing this as a multiple cartridge box? Or
We'll use
is
it
this
for our
really
1
not the
gram and
scale?
our half gram. It is a large box. It's a very small product. It's a similar size to this. This just allows us to print on the box and not have to deal with stickers, putting them on the bags and things. And also it's paper instead of plastic, which breaks
Okay.
down a little bit easier.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. It's just, I was curious whether this was an accurate picture and you were gonna have that big box for one little thing to roll around.
It is a similar size to what you see in front of you as far as scale goes with the cartridge, yes.
But you can
Okay.
use it for wholesale packaging too, can't you? I mean, you've got, in this picture, there's, probably, 20 cartridges in the box. So you could, for selling to your retailers, you can use that for packaging too, right?
We could. We would only presumably put a half gram or 1 gram in there. We don't do multi-packs that are going out.
No, but I mean, okay, so people don't sell an individual cartridge across the counter.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. And the labeling doesn't change.
Right.
All right. All right, there a motion for,
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I would move that the board, approve the, change requested on the MJ-15 for license 10165 Good LLC.
All right. Motion is made, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The opposed, didn't hear any, so there you go.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Okay, next up, Southeast Alaska Laboratories. On the phone there.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Good morning, this is the Marijuana Control Board. Is Southeast Alaska Laboratories online? You're here to do your operating plan change. Okay, we don't hear Southeast Laboratories, so we will look for you here later on. Next would be Glacier Extracts.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Aaron with Glacier Extracts, and I believe Mr. Adam Boy, the licensee, should be on telephonic right now as well.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Simpson?
Yes, this is Mr. Boyd.
Good morning, Mr. Boyd.
Good morning.
Okay, so what would you like to do here?
Yeah, we were seeking approval to MJ-15, our operating change, the small packaging change, serving size change, and recipe change.
Just run those down, run those by. Is this just for the gummies?
Yeah, it's actually for all three, sir. It's going to be the gummies, the gems, and the mints, and all three of the packaging, serving sizes, and ingredients have changed. We went from, it was originally 10 serving sizes. It's pretty expensive wise if you're doing smaller batches to test the 10, so it's a little more cost effective to test 5. So we wanted to be available to do 5 servings and 10 servings. And then the recipe change was added a couple of more sugars to it to be more clear, confectioner sugar, stuff like that. So we can source supplies more readily than just stuck to one kind of sugar, you know what I mean? And then the other change was, let me check here. We are switching it from, the packaging was very expensive to start from about a year ago when these were approved, and we're just switching it to a Mylar bag, which will be heat sealed with a label on both sides. It's pretty basic to kind of what people are doing now.
Okay, any questions? All right, their motion?
Motion to approve the operating change for license 0828.
Okay, the motion to change, approve the operating plan change for packaging, recipe, and serving size on 3 of their products. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Yes, so you're approved.
Awesome, thank you so much.
You bet. Okay, Raspberry Roots.
Daniel Dean for Raspberry Roots, and Kim Cole is on the phone.
Good morning, Kim.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Excellent, thank you.
What can we do for you?
So this is just a little packaging, a packaging change. And Kim, do you want to talk a little bit about why you want to change this packaging?
Actually, go ahead, because I'm not in a position where I can talk very well right now, so I'm going to let you take it.
Okay, that's fine. So the packaging change is just basically changing it from the previously approved one to one that is plastic with a snap lid, and it's silicone, so it comes off. The product comes off easier. This is a dab product, and we just feel like this is more regulatory compliant, and it doesn't have as much product loss by sticking on the edges of the previous packaging.
So it's just the cover you're changing?
Yeah, so a little container, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You can turn right.
I'm sorry, it's glass with a silicone lid, yeah.
Right. I am guessing you don't use the product description on the label. As sugar wax is preferred to use as scrap concentrate that began to resemble the consistency of earwax.
No, we don't use that on the product advertisement, no.
Okay, so all you're changing is the lid, right? Not it's been in a jar, right?
Yeah, it's been in a jar.
Getting a silicone lid instead of a screw-in lid?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any questions about that? Yeah, is that silicone? Yeah, that's raw. That's recyclable.
I don't.
Recyclable or not?
Not sure.
No matter. Okay, all those in favor, I'll take a motion, I guess.
Motion to...
Sorry, I did leave one thing out. The other change is the blister packaging, so it's hard plastic, not the Mylar bag, which the hard plastic is recyclable.
Yeah.
The Mylar bag was not. Sorry, I missed that.
Okay. So it's silicone cover and...
Correct.
Motion to approve operating change for license 10856 to a silicone lid and a blister package.
All right, any more questions? Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Yes, so, here you go.
Thank you.
All right, Secret Garden Cannabis.
Jana Welteen, attorney for Secret Garden Cannabis.
Good morning.
morning. James Thornton, Sacred Garden Cannabis.
The only guy that dresses better than Brandon Emmett. All right, good morning. What can we do for you?
I see changes. Very excited about becoming operational shortly. In retail, we are changing our logo. Actually, in all 3 licenses, we're changing the logo. Also, new labels, which I brought samples if anyone would like to see if they don't look as clear as maybe they're actually printed. We are also adding 2 pieces of equipment to the manufacturing facility, changing no processes though, as well as adding a few things to cultivation.
The drawing of the signs.
And the drawing for the signs.
Yeah, let's go see your here's there. What you got? You going from what to what? The lip bowl. Yeah. So the old label was the one with the triangles in it, and the new label is the one that looks like lightning bolts.
Yeah, the new ones with the keyhole,
See, I saw that, and I'm thinking,
and the triangles are the A's in cannabis.
It's like Nikola Tesla's machines. Yeah, Tesla Coil or his Warncliffe Tower, yeah.
And we have 2 signs currently installed on the building, so I'm looking to schedule a retail inspection on May 8th.
Right on. Okay, so what's the equipment you're adding in machines?
A homogenizer and a vacuum oven.
Okay.
The vacuum oven just heats up concentrate, so it's easier to work with, and the homogenizer basically just increases the dissipation of CO2.
Those will do processes that we've already approved.
Correct.
Okay, so it's the signage and the equipment.
Yep, and logo and labeling. And also some cultivation items as well, if you have any questions about those. I'd love to...
cultivation items.
Yes.
It's the next one down.
Yeah, no.
You're going out of...
I've got it.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
A question I had, and I saw it there, and trying to tell you what page I'm on. It's basically the last page of your MJ15 on your first one there, 12769. You show the new logo up above, and then down below you still have the Secret Garden, and it looks like a sort of a banner kind of logo. And I noticed that on the back. I see it on the others. Is there a reason that you would have both on there? Could you tell me what that?
Are you talking about the sign?
the night view.
Yes, that's just what it would look like at night with the backlit leaf.
No, I wasn't looking at the sign. This
Are you
is
talking
on
about
the
the
label.
logo?
Hand me that.
I don't know where
Yeah. Oh, you see this? You go here, and you got a different logo right there.
Oh, yeah, that's just like an ancillary logo, something
Okay.
that it's part of the whole
And that's not
package.
changing. That's been there before.
No, that is part of the change.
That is part of the
label
change.
Yes.
Okay, because you go through a lot to describe this, and you never talk about that. You talk about how you did this, the keyhole, the whole bit. You never talk about that in the description of the change. So I thought it was what was there, and I was wondering how come you were going to have both. And so
actually, it fits better on the lighter and a couple other of the logo or the branding options. So we wanted to have a different shape.
Because when you look at this particular label, you don't see that one.
Right. In this case, it's actually just appearing on the back side of the Mylar.
It's kind of like that one we had yesterday where they, the one I said, you got your logo, your company name up here, and then down here it says something else.
Right.
That's just
We like to use it on our letterhead too, and some of our SOPs. And
So if you look at the last page, it sort of shows the logo, and then there's 2 different other samples, and that other logo's there. So, so you're looking at approving that as well?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Want to be clear.
Yeah. So we got lightning
I didn't have a
bolts coming out of
problem
the
with it, I
keyhole,
just-
and we got this bottom one looks like an old wireless antenna. It It does. It looks like an old, yeah, there's an old wireless in it. Okay. All right, so let's,
You're dating yourself, Mr. Chair.
yes, I am. Okay, let's start with tab, 80, which is the retail. And then we get them done and they're all be the same.
Motion to approve operating plan change the logo for signs and labels. We went over an awful lot there.
For 12768.
For license 12768.
Okay. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
I'm a yes, so those are approved. Brings us to manufacturing. So this is where you've got where you add the two pieces of equipment. Okay. But they're just...
Oh, and the drawing of the logos too.
Yeah, you got the logo on there. I'm trying to find where you mentioned the...
So scroll down to page,
Mr. Chair, on the MJ-15, and this time around, the programs have done a good job. The Section 2 summary of the changes, it's usually been pretty clear to read that first, and I found it, most of the changes that were in there, you know, they were pretty adequately described, so it was a little easier to follow this time, and I appreciate that.
Oh, here it is. I found it. Yeah, okay. All right, we have a motion?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I would move that the board approve the operating change for license 12769, Secret Garden Cannabis Manufacturing, which is a logo change and adding additional equipment.
All right, we'll vote. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Yes. Brings us to license 12770, which is the Cultivate, which includes the logos, and, okay, new items added, separated. Yeah, why don't you run down this real quick, the Cultivate changes?
So one item that we wanted to make sure to take care of was to separate the pesticides and pest control products from fertilizers and chemicals. Previously, they were all jumbled together, which made it difficult to organize. We also took off a few things, and we added a few things. Things we added were things with all-natural products, such as Lost Coast Plant Therapy, soy oil, peppermint oil, citric acid, some inoculants, and mostly natural products. We do have a few that have the DEC certification. So pyrethrum, for instance, chrysanthemum flowers concentrated will be used in between cycles to clean rooms out. And diatomaceous earth, natural product, basically just fossilized plankton, and some other things, reduced risk biofungicide, regalia, ladybugs, some natural predatory type pest management tools.
Okay. Got any questions?
You know, updated the logos.
Yes.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I would move that the board approve the operating changes for license 12770, Secret Garden Cannabis, his logo and some nutrient and pesticide with delegation. As the director's memo said that the application is approved, we need with delegation because the pesticide list is pending verification with DEC. So make sure that this change is approved with delegation.
Okay, sounds good. So we'll vote. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Let's start with you. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Yes. So, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Brings us to AK funding, tab 83.
We did that yesterday.
Oh, we did those yesterday? We did them yesterday? Oh, I didn't write it down. Okay.
I did.
Okay, I'm glad somebody did. Okay, then how about,
I did too.
How about Wake and Bakery? Yeah. But we do have somebody else from Catch Can Air.
Hi, good morning.
Morning. Where's your...
I'm Chris Wilhelm with Awaken Bakery.
That was the guy from Kodiak that was wearing the kilt, right? Okay, good morning. So, what do we got here? Okay, you want to amend 3 of your products? Tell us what you want to do here.
Yeah, we'd like to add it.
Here, push them.
You just need to push it once.
And it's on.
No, the red light's gonna come on. There you go.
And then it stays on.
Yep.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, did you have a question?
Yeah, why don't you just summarize your change for us?
We'd like to
lower dose cookies?
Yeah, we'd like to add some products, including a lower dose cookie, so that people can enjoy having more than 1 or 2 cookies. They can, like me, they want to eat 3 or 4, and then they want to be able to get up and vacuum the floor still. So, there's that.
Okay. So you want to go from you want to make some 2.5 milligram cookies?
That's right.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to ask a general question. I don't have any trouble with this, but I was curious. I mean, we've had changes where people are changing the packages, and so they're only going to put 5 out instead of 10. I think this was the first one that wanted to talk about a lower dose in a product.
No, I don't think so.
Have we had people lower
You've seen this kind of thing before.
Okay. Well, what came to my mind was, are you having trouble getting enough potency in a cookie that to label it as a 5 milligram, and so it's easier with either the concentrates you're using or the products that you're using to make the cookie to get closer to the 2.5 than the 5? That was just came to mind, and I wanted to ask. So.
Not at all. In fact, I think it's going to be more of a challenge to try to dial it down. 5 milligrams is such a small amount already. Do half of that is going to be a little dicey, but I think we're up for it. And we've got some in-house testing devices that have been fairly accurate. But we'd like people to be able to, like, especially because I'm from a tourist town, and we'd like tourists to be able to purchase a product and not find that maybe they've had too much or they aren't comfortable with taking a 5 milligram cookie. If they want to break it in half, but they really like the cookie, and they want to eat the whole thing. This would give people a chance to try our products with a little less risk, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we were talking about some places don't allow edibles now, by the local government. I said, well, there's going to be a kind of a resultant reaction to at least to these edible changes. And I didn't get a chance to finish what I was going to say. I was going to say, yeah, people are going to want to make higher potency edibles. But on the other hand, lower potency edibles, I can see that there's going to probably be a substantial market for those if we have on-site edible consumption. So that's great. Now I think that's really responsible to me making a potency product. I think you probably find there's some demand for it. Great. Okay.
I like putting non-fat milk in your full caffeine coffee.
Yeah. Well, I'm waiting for somebody to come up with a coffee dipping edible that actually has got a cannabis product on it that goes into the coffee. Okay, that's your multi-million-dollar free idea for today, everybody.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
Write that down. Write that down. Okay, so are there any more questions for Awaken Bakery?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I would move that the board approve the operating change for Awaken Bakery license number 13697.
Very good. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Yes. Go.
Okay, thank you.
Good. All right, Alaska Frontier Cannabis. Tab 85.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Good morning, this is the Marijuana Control Board, and we are looking for Alaska Frontier Cannabis in Wasilla.
Yes, it's Kirby Coleman with Alaska Frontier Cannabis. I'm actually pulling in the parking lot right now. I'll see you guys in 30 seconds if you will.
All right. Okay, sounds good.
Hold on. Okay.
Okay, we'll take a 30-second break.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
Really? Okay. Mostly.
Mostly means no.
Well,
okay, hang on.
I'll go, Phil, I'll go pour. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm thinking about non-cannabis applications. This would be good for carrying olive oil in your backpack.
One in your bag before you leave.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't carry olive oil in your backpack.
Well, if you're gonna go cooking, why wouldn't you carry olive oil in your backpack? Relatively.
Again, not air.
They're good. I mean, they're a nice size. I mean, if you want to carry pull up a chair, make yourself comfortable, push the button. There you go. Good morning.
Kirby Coleman here with Alaska Frontier Cannabis.
What can I do for you this morning?
Sorry for the delay.
No sweat. No, you're right on time.
Yeah, we're looking to expand the cultivation. We're gonna do a summer harvest. Pretty much do a one crop harvest and be able to feed our manufacturers to be able to bring in product less dollar value, and then looking to do some hoop house grows.
Oh, so you're adding
structures.
Adding structures.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
On the MJ14, I sort of had trouble going through this to match up with the description, which basically says we'll be expanding our current licensed premises from a small building to 5 90-foot by 96-foot high tunnels and 10 8-foot by 4-foot connexes. So basically, you are adding 15 structures
That's
to your
correct.
property?
Yes.
Okay. And then as I scroll through here and I see site plan number 1, I see 5 high tunnels. And then I go to site plan 2, and it looks like exactly the same description, it's just a different color, and shows 5 high tunnels. So what am I missing here?
It's just if you look at the legend, probably some differences in descriptions of what those colors are signifying.
Okay.
So you're looking at the five high tunnels.
Yeah, well, I see it says existing license and expansion proposal. So the first green, or the one that's outlined in green, that's only 5 of the 15. Then the next one down that's more beige, that's another 5 of the 15. And the next one down that's green is another 5. That's my problem. I'm trying to get a picture of how the whole thing is going to be laid out.
So if you look at premises diagram number 1, you have the 5 high tunnels.
Right.
And then down below high tunnel number 4, those are the 10 connex structures there.
Oh, okay.
That structure that is above the connexes is not going to be part of the licensed facility. And then if you go in between high tunnel number 1 and high tunnel number 2, that is currently the cultivation facility operating today.
Okay. So since there's no outside dimensions, just sort of L-shaped figure, how, is that covering a couple acres of land? Is that?
Yeah, it's a fairly decent chunk of land, about 10 acres in total. We have a 6-foot fence surrounding the entire perimeter of the entire property, and then we're going to add another 6-foot fence for security purposes surrounding just the licensed premises. So that first, that L shape that you see there is the 100-foot setback from the property line, and then also the 6-foot fence should be colored with you guys with the legend there to be able to see where we're putting an additional 6-foot fence that'll have a privacy screening on it as well.
Okay. Well, I know you have 100 feet per inch, but when I see it on the computer screen, I can't put a
If you scroll up to the map picture kind of gives you an overlay of the property and kind of what you're looking at, entails of,
Sure.
let's see, map number 2.
Yeah, I don't know where map number 2 is. I keep looking. But,
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question?
sure.
Thank you. Kirby, on the second diagram where the premises or the expansion is kind of highlighted in yellow and the existing premises is in orange. So the existing premises, the part of the building that's outside of the premises looks angled, but when you look at the next drawing, the detailed drawing of that building, it's actually a straight line, right? So I just wanted to...
It is angled. Currently, right now, the existing licensed premises is sitting, some of it is sitting inside of the 100-foot setback of the buffer, and the way that the Massey Borough has looked at this, and they are, the remedy of the issue was to build a false wall in between, so we had to have a survey come out and tell us exactly where the 100-foot was, and we built a wall inside that 100-foot setback.
So is that wall angled?
That wall is angled. In the cultivation itself, at a very small angle, but it is. So that's the two structures that you're seeing that weren't hand-drawn in there are the way that they are on the way that the Massey Borough gave us the maps. So that's the way that they're not completely north to south contour. So they are a little angled, but right now the one that is licensed is like I said, there's a wall that we can't do anything on the other side of that wall that's sitting inside that 100-foot setback.
And so I guess on page 6, the width of the unlicensed portion of the building on the north end is 100-point-something feet, and the width at the south end is 103-point-something feet. So that's the angle you're talking about of that interior wall?
Correct.
Okay. I think it looks more angled on the big drawing than it does on the actual building drawing, but that was a little odd when we looked at it. Thank you.
Erica, is there a requirement for public notice for a change like this? Or just
no.
through the borough, through the local planning authority?
The borough is making us adjust our CP and we're up for our conditional use permit for that property here on the 20th. So public notice has gone out to all the surrounding parties and properties and stuff like that. So
because of the local requirement.
Yeah.
The local government has to sign off on MJ14s, but there isn't a state public notice requirement.
Yep.
So is there a protest period then? I mean, a protest if they have to approve the MJ14. I mean, thinking of the motion to approve this with delegation, and because you have a hearing, if the Matsu would suddenly say no.
Yeah, so actually with the MJ14 there is a spot for the Matsu. We had to get a local government sign-off, and it just says pending. So until that is checked approved, I got to get that back, and once they approve it at the CUP, then I can get it signed again as approved, and then present that to AMCO, and then it should be with delegation from you guys.
Yeah, that's what I was
And if the local government had an issue, we would bring it back to the board.
But we should do the delegation just to be...
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
Now this, just keep in mind that us getting approved with this, I know that we might not get all these done this summer. I would ask, and I believe I would need to do another change of premises diagrams if we didn't get all of them up, and resubmit that, and I would hope that wouldn't have to come before the board again for approval. So I guess I could ask that question.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. So, things look more like greenhouses and high tunnels.
Yeah, it's essentially the same thing, just a different.
Greenhouses.
Yeah.
But they're visqueen.
Yeah, visqueen topped and corrugated on the sides.
Okay.
I got a couple example pictures that were.
I saw that.
Okay, yeah.
Say they're pretty big. You must have got a hell of a deal on the connexes, because.
Well, the connexes are.
Connexes ain't cheap.
Yeah, the connexes are more in terms of for drying and curing and things
really?
of that nature.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that can be. Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. All right. Any other questions for Mr. Coleman?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I would move that the board approve the operating changes, the MJ 14 and 15 for Alaska Frontier Cannabis LLC, license 14396, with delegation.
Okay, we'll vote on that. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Yes, so there you go.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, can I ask one more question? Is in the unlicensed building that's mostly within the licensed premises, can you add if there, the entrances and exits to that building, to the drawing?
Yes, yeah,
So-
I could, yeah.
That'd be
I
great.
could add that. Yeah, essentially that's a bathhouse and where people do laundry and stuff like that, so, well, we would be doing laundry, so it was where we house our security, our monitors and stuff like that, but it being part of the licensed premises is not gonna be. So as far as the doors, you're
So
asking
you could
for,
just mark on the drawing and,
Yeah.
and turn in where the entrances and exits are.
I'll get that to you.
So
Thank you.
so your security stuff's not in a restricted area?
No, that's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. All right, scorpion grass. Stay on the line.
Jana Waldine, I think James Hacker is on the phone, but he might not be, but
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
James or Lisa, are you on the phone? Yeah.
What do we
I
got?
hate to be rude. I couldn't get my phone to unmute when tab 77 was up.
Oh, okay, we'll get back to you.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll get back to you, yeah. That would be, something's up. Yes, we'll, as soon as we get done with scorpion grass, we'll get right to you.
Okay, so for scorpion grass for the cultivation, it's simply removing the key codes that were personalized for each employee. Right now, we couldn't find a system that would track and trace that kind of system for keypad entry, so it's just going to be, in the future, we're going to hopefully do that, but for now, it's just going to be regular keys. And then the other change is for motion detectors. We didn't put them all throughout the building, just the areas where there are windows. So in those rooms, when there's windows, that's when there's motion detectors in there. And that was the only two changes.
Okay. Any questions? Motion?
Motion to approve operating change for license 15789.
Okay. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Yes. And same thing for...
Almost the same thing. Definitely those two changes, plus we're making the following changes in terms of equipment. Scorpion Grass will be removing Cascade Science decarb oven, low winterization freezer, the HPX rotary evaporator, vacuum, and the vacuum oven, and then adding Beckham Coulter J6HC refrigerated centrifuge, high-tech 110 cup shredder and grinder, American Biotech Supply refrigerator, and just also notifying that we have some equipment that was on the original application that will be wanting to use in the future but will not be there at the time of inspection, and that's the DeWalt air compressor, the Sasquatch 20-ton rosin press.
Okay, and there's no changes to process with these pieces of equipment?
No changes to processes in the products, no.
All right. Any questions? Motion?
Motion to approve operating plan changes for license number 1790 and summarized in section 2.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Miller. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Yes, so there you go.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay, we will, roll back to tab 77, Southeast Laboratories. Good morning.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Good morning.
Okay, you want to introduce yourself to us and,
This is Jessica Drelbus, the manager of Southeast Alaska Laboratories.
hi, good morning. So this is just a change in, your scientific director?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who's your current scientific director?
Well, we had a little blip when we did not have a scientific director, and we were searching diligently and obviously ceased all startup procedures and SOPs, etc. And Ryland Bueller has been working with us and for a couple weeks, and obviously the application to add him as our scientific director.
Okay. It says he's got an undergraduate degree from Penn State in energy engineering, which is basically a chemical engineering degree. Advanced chemistry coursework, worked 4 months as research assistant at Penn State. He also conducted research, ran experiments, collected and analyzed data, as well as fabricated and maintained equipment. He's worked 5 years and 9 months at Alaska Brewing as a chemical engineer, at which his job spanned a wide range of responsibilities, but included frequent laboratory work. One thing we don't have, I don't think, we say that I have a scientific director, but we don't require CVs or resumes. Maybe we should start thinking about doing that. And maybe we will ask, given our pending relationship with DEC, might behoove all testing licensees to provide some CVs to the office,
Mr. Chair?
for their scientific staff. Yeah.
We do in regulations state that if they have a PhD, so many years of experience, a master's, so many years of experience, a bachelor's, so many years. I'm not necessarily convinced that working 6 years as a chemical engineer at a brewery is 6 years of laboratory experience, which is what's in our regulation. So I have a couple of questions about that, but also at this point, this laboratory is not operating. I mean, they have not gone through any of the reviews necessary. They've been in delegated status for 2 years now, 3, ending up with a scientific director that I'm not sure meets our qualifications. So I guess I had a couple of questions of staff, since there weren't any recommendations from staff, about sort of where are they in the licensing process, where are they in the review process, either by our consultant or by DEC.
Through the chair, Mr. Jones, so the revisions that were made or that were requested of the board for the separation of personal use and commercial marijuana resolution regarding allowing testing facilities to bring small amounts of marijuana on board were sort of triggered by discussions with this licensee. They appeared to be working on their methodologies in preparation for a visit from the board's contractor, but that has not yet happened.
Okay. Any opinion on the qualifications of the scientific director, or are you going to leave that to Solomon, up to us?
I haven't reviewed it, so it's really up to you.
Thank you. Or not.
I assume you are not aware that Sean Kasner was out on Monday and Tuesday of this week and did a very nice inspection for us, and we're still waiting on a chemical hood that was supposed to be in by the end of February, and it was not. It's supposed to be in next week on the 6th, hoping that it's actually going to make it up on the barge this time. And with all that being said, we were going to obviously have to validate our methods that we need to use on that chemical hood, and at which point Sean will review those validations and such, and he has given us a real nice overview of the things that we need to work on and fix. He was in the area, and that's, he was going to be in Ketchikan the next day. So anyway, with all that being said, Ryland is by far the best scientific director I've worked with. And I do believe that his experience at the brewery was in the laboratory, being as, you have to test your beers, alcohol content, etc., to know what its levels are.
So who was the person that spent 2 days in going through your process?
Sean Kasner. He is contracted out through A2LA.
Oh, okay. So some of that process has started then.
I mean, that wasn't
Yes.
on site, right? That would have been over the phone?
No, that was on site.
Oh,
He was
so he
out.
has visited. Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yes.
Yeah, what's been the holdup with that chemical hood? That thing's been selling.
I own a refrigeration company too, so I'm used to delays, but this is ridiculous. I guess it was ordered from Japan or Taiwan or wherever, and with the tariff, that was what was holding it up.
Okay.
All I know.
So, let's talk about Ryland a little bit. Is he there by any chance?
He is not. I'm at a different location than the laboratory right now.
Okay,
How's it going, man? I gotta bounce in and out quick, so. Excuse me, man.
Hello? Somebody needs to mute
Hi.
their phone.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, okay, so I think I would like to see his CV and, because, I mean, you know, testing beer for alcohol content, making sure that it is pasteurized right. And maybe he's got all kinds of organic chemistry experience, at Penn State and, you know, this advanced work.
Okay.
But, you know, it is a little bit of a different scene, and by us approving him, you know, we're expressing confidence in his knowledge and ability and expressing that to the industry. So,
Understand.
anybody have any objections to a motion to table this till our, now getting even bigger May 14th approximately meeting? And by then we'll have seen his,
And request his presence.
He was asked to be present.
Yeah, maybe have him on the line, but we'll have a chance to look at his CV too.
I wouldn't have any objection to that.
Okay. Okay, then here's what we're gonna do. We'll take a motion here to, postpone this to a meeting we're gonna have in 2 weeks. And if you would please, expeditiously send a copy of his CV, to the office so they can give it to the board members.
Understand. No problem.
And hopefully you'll have your chemical hood by then.
Yes, that would be excellent.
All right. Okay, well, thank you very much, and we'll look forward to talking to you here in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yep, you bet.
Nice.
Yeah, let's get a motion for that, postpone.
Mr. Chair, I would move that we postpone discussion of the requested change for Southeast Alaska Laboratories to the May 14th meeting.
Yeah.
And that copy of the scientific director's resume be sent to staff.
Okay, great. Mr.
There is a resume in the packet. Are you asking for something
see one.
additional?
I didn't see one.
I saw it. I
Did you?
tried to point to it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, shoot. Oh. Did you see it?
I did, but I wasn't convinced that that was accurate or adequate, but
Okay.
that's why I had the questions.
Yeah.
But, you know, to have the person here to discuss the CV, if he's got one that's more expansive or one that's more descriptive of duties, I think that would be appropriate. But
I don't see any
I did not see a lot of experience in there that I would relate to the problems we have with the need in Alaska for really accurate testing and for reliability between testers. And so, if there's a different one, or he can be more expansive, or if he was available on the 14th, would be really good.
Yes. I don't feel bad though. So we had the motion. So did we do the motion? Did I call the roll?
I just made the motion.
You made the motion. Okay, then we will. Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Ms. Jones.
Yes.
I'm a yes. So it's postponed until 14th. All right. Let's see who those four that we're looking for from yesterday.
Verify background.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna go to a couple we missed yesterday. Hire by bad grammar, are you online? Tab 28.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Hire by bad grammar, good morning. You there?
Mr. Chair, I would recommend acting on this one even if the licensee is not present because there is a protest, and so that should be acted upon.
Okay.
I mean, you've reviewed the license application and approved it with delegation, and so this is going back to set an abeyance period.
Right. Okay, then is there a motion to reconsider February approval?
So moved.
Okay, all those in favor of reconsideration, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now is there a motion to deny the license, to uphold the protests of the Matanuska-Susitna Borough with 120 days abeyance and delegation?
Mr. Chair, I would move that the board deny the license to hire by bad grammar, license number 19178. Uphold the protest from the Matanuska-Susitna Borough and 120-day abeyance with delegation.
Okay, any discussion? All right, Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
I'm a yes, so. That's done. Who's next? Okay, the phone's still open? Okay, Tip Top. Tip Top LLC. So, Director, should we, oh, this is a whole new app.
This is the second meeting at which they have not been present.
Okay, well, as we say in Fairbanks at 3 a.m., last chance for romance in July.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I guess I would like the board to ask the director to notify them that if they're not there in July, that we will probably at that point deny their license application.
Would agree with that. Go down. Studio 420.
Halfway out there.
Okay. Studio 420 on the line.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Studio 420. No, there were no show. We said there were no show yesterday, so. All right. And they're a new license. Oh yeah, this is yeah. Okay, we'll see if they show at all. Tell them we expect to see them face to face in July. Okay, who's the last one there? Okay, Danny's Place from Soldotna. Are you online, Mr. Pritchard? Nope. Okay. Maybe we'll see him in July. Okay, which brings us, as the speaker says, back up to new marijuana products. You want to take and see, there's going to be a long list here. Okay. We are on Einstein Labs, tab 88.
Justin Rowland.
Jana Maltine, attorney for Einstein Labs, Justin Rowland, president of Einstein Labs.
Good morning. Well, it's a good sign my screen won't scroll anymore. Okay, 6 new products, which are...
Go through them, or?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So, Shatter Sap and Shatter Silk are just clarifying really the differences between 2 products we already have on the market, which is Sugar Sap and Sugar Silk. The difference between the 2 is Sugar Sap and Sugar Silk is made from live resin and live fresh material only. Shatter Sap and Shatter Silk will be made from dry cured flower or trim only. So it's just branding and just kind of clarifying the differences between 2 products. Then the next one would be Celestial Sugar. And basically what we're doing here is we're catching up with the lower 48, and the lower 48 has moved to crystalline production, which we have crystalline approved as a previous product already, so we're already doing the process. We're just refining it into bigger diamonds. So before, crystalline is a whole bunch of little tiny small crystals. Mm-hmm. Now we're just growing bigger crystals and branding them into different products. So like this particular one, it would have terpenes added back into it that we separate when we do the extraction. And we this would be a small grain crystal, and we mix it up and we just call it one Celestial Sugar. They're all very similar products. They're just kind of branded and packaged different.
Okay, and you got the...
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I didn't have any trouble with the products. It was pretty, for my limited knowledge, it was self-explanatory enough for me. What I had real problems with was the photos on the packaging. I really couldn't figure this out. I assume maybe that's a box. And you talk about clear jars. Sometimes you show them in a jar under description, and then, but at least the pictures that I saw on my iPad and now that I see here on this computer, you know, the words are almost, you can't read them, and the packaging is really unclear. You know, I can't really see the logos or the words. So, do you have better pictures, or can you explain the packaging? Is this like a childproof box? Is that what I'm seeing?
It's a childproof box, and what we've child resistant. And what we went to is more education for the consumer on the box. So, like you'll notice, I put a marijuana warning, THC warning on the bottom of the box in the picture, as well as instructions lower temp use on like for a consumer to dab it. Consumers are dabbing at higher temperatures, which is really causing, well, not causing, but
see, that's the problem. And as I'm looking at this on these pictures, I cannot see those. I can't see, you know, the discussion of the higher temperatures. I can't see that it's at the bottom of the box.
Who took the pictures, you, or do you get those from your vendor?
I took the pictures.
Okay.
And usually what we do, like with these and what we've done in the past, is we made sample boxes, because we don't actually have the boxes from Sun-Grown yet with the actual branding on it. So what we did was we made the boxes so we could put pictures for you guys, and then when we actually have it, like we've done before, we send pictures to AMCO when we actually have the retail product in the store, just so they can update their product pictures.
Yeah.
The label is the exact same label that you guys have approved on every single one of my previous products. It says the exact same thing, has all the cannabinoids, has all the warnings, says not to be eaten. It's the exact same label that's approved on my Shatter, Crumble, butter, rosin.
And do those all have low temperature discussion on them?
They do not. The older products do not.
So
He was inspired because I gave myself pneumonia trying to learn how to dab, and high temperatures are not good for dabbing.
And I mean, if you want better pictures, that's easy. As soon as we have the actual box,
yeah, because you know you've got a
pictures.
pretty busy label, pretty busy packaging there. I mean, it looks real cool, but it's pretty busy. And yeah, this is you know, can't read the
and
label.
educational material. I think staff needs to look at, because education, this should be low temperature. Education, this cures arthritis is a different thing. And if I can't read it here, I don't know what you're actually saying. And so I would, in the motion, I think I would make a delegation that staff review the packaging.
Yep, we can.
Because it's really clear that if we say yes, and then you go ahead and produce it, send it out to retailers, and then take a picture of that and say it's in the retail stores and send it on, and we have an objection, then you've got product out there that's got packaging that then we'd have a question about. So I think that process needs to be a little clearer up front.
Yep, we can provide clear pictures.
Yeah, and you're not the only ones that have come in with kind of hard to see pictures, so I'd encourage everybody to.
The artwork is really detailed.
That's what I'm saying. It's
so
awfully busy there. Yeah. No, I
hard to
understand
see
that. I understand that. Maybe get I don't know. Somebody needs a photo booth to take pictures of. Oh, seriously,
For
nice.
sure.
Yeah, they put. Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I would move that we, license number right's never in the right spot, that we would approve the products for Einstein Lab on the staff's list, products 1 through 6, for Einstein Labs, it's number 10082, with delegation, and that delegation being that clear pictures and especially about whatever labels and educational material be reviewed by staff before these are finally approved.
All right. With that, Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Go.
Thank you.
Okay, Glacier Extract.
Oh,
yes.
I had the question.
Sure.
So this license and its accompanying cultivation license is one that you considered earlier on the renewals about, you had a 2018 renewal that you considered because we had to remove Lucinda, who was a previous licensee, because she got sick and had to leave the state for medical care.
Okay.
So now there's a change in the regulations in a form online drafted by staff that would allow during renewals the PFD exemption for people that had good cause. But since we've already removed Lucinda, I just was looking for a little bit of guidance on how I could possibly put her back on and under this exemption issue if I'd already removed her, if I can only do that exemption in the renewal process.
Oh,
Talk to staff.
Yeah, talk to staff.
Okay, yeah,
Yep.
Eric and I will work on it, thank you.
Yeah. You bet.
2.5 days in, my Solomon's gone.
Well, not that plus, yeah. Okay, Glacier Extracts. Good morning again.
Hello, I'm Aaron Simpson with Glacier Extract, and once again, Mr. Adam Boyd, the licensee, should be on the phone telephonics.
Can you point the mic here?
Oh,
Yeah.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Good morning, Mr. Boyd. You with us again?
Morning, thank you.
Okay. So we got 3 new products here.
yes, sir.
Okay, let me just run them down real quick for us.
Do you want me just to start with the first one I have in my hand? Okay, great. The first product is seeking approval for an MJ16 proposed new marijuana product, and the name of the product would be Glacier Extracts Glacier Fire Stick. And we currently have an approved Glacier Extracts infused pre-roll. This is basically the exact same recipe, except it's going to be in a palm leaf instead of the white actual rolling paper. It's just going to give another alternative to the customers coming in to choose between paper and palm, but it's basically the same exact ingredients. It will be 1 gram of flour with a little bit of oil, all inside a palm leaf. And then the second one that we're seeking approval for the MJ16 proposed new marijuana product would be Glacier Extracts Fire and Iceberg. And there's a lot of comparable products like this. It's basically a gram of marijuana, half a gram to a gram, and it's going to be oil will be added, CO2 oil, of course, and then keef will be added as well. And then that will be put into a jar, and it will be put into a Mylar bag with all the approved packaging and labels on it. And then the third product for the MJ16 proposed new marijuana product would be the Glacier Extracts Glacier Fire Log. And this is going to be comparable to the Fire Stick and the actual infused pre-roll we have now. It's just going to be larger. There's going to be a little more marijuana in it. There's going to be a little more oil in it. And there's going to be kief added to it as well. And then I was hoping to get approval to go between the Palm or the, let me see what it was called, to the hemp wrap, for sure. So the color might vary based on the actual wrap we use. Yes, sir, on the log. Some manufacturers will be a brown color, some will be more of a darker color, some will be more of a lighter color.
Yeah, palm leaf / hemp wrap.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right. When you, the oil, let's look at the icebergs. When you add the oil to them, what's that process, real quickly? Is that just rolling the gram in oil?
Yeah, basically, it's going to be that simple of a process.
Okay.
So there's lots of different stuff.
Yeah, because I saw something yesterday that was labeled that it was injected.
Yeah, sure. And then it would basically be on the outside, right, sir. And then the kief will protect it kind of inside. So you're not, if you were to just throw it in a Mylar bag, you lose a lot of the material.
Yeah, sure.
So the jar will help keep everything intact for the customer, sir.
Okay, cool. All right, any questions about these products? How soon you plan on having these in the market?
As soon as I can run down and buy a roller, sir. So yeah, I was just waiting for the board's approval.
All right.
Yeah, the product we have now is a very good seller, so this would be a great addition for our customers.
Okay, is there a motion on Glacier Extracts?
I just wanted to say I appreciate it. When you look at the label, you can see the 3 different products that go in there and the way that's labeled out, and I appreciated that was there. With that, I would make a motion to, I already flipped one page, that the board approve the 3 products listed: Glacier Extracts Fire and Icebergs, Glacier Fire Log, Glacier Fire Stick, for Glacier Extracts license 10828.
Okay, Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Yes, so there you go.
Awesome. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody here. This is my first time really being through the whole process. So once again, this is amazing, and thank you for your time, everyone.
Thank you. Might be done by noon. Good LLC.
Do you have anyone on the line?
I do.
You do? Okay. All right, thanks. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Barrett Goodale, Cultivation Manager for Good LLC, and the Lewis licensee should be on the phone.
Okay. Good morning, Miss Lewis.
Good morning.
Okay, so this is a product that we denied last meeting, and I'm gonna look through the minutes really quick. I know that I was concerned about the possible, the people might view this as a medicinal product, but we've just been handed what we should already know, that 3AC 306-505 includes the word patches. So, let me look and see if I can find the minutes here. Yeah, I can look for it, can't I? There we go. Yes, sir.
I had more of a general question. the product name is Manna Transdermal Patch. And I know we turned this down, and so, in my typical overkill, I started to research all of this stuff, patches and sort of how they're done, and I ran across the webpage that is Manna Molecular Science LLC. And it says the Manna Molecular Science Transdermal Patch is the first cannabis optimized patch that has been developed by real pharmaceutical scientists from MIT and Genzyme using state-of-the-art product design and research methods. My question is this, since the name is almost identical, is this licensed from them? Do they have their product or patented, or are you purchasing the rights from them? I mean, I'm trying to sort this out because their website goes into a lot of sort of reasons for people to use patches, some of which is, put it on your wrist if your wrist hurts, which sounded more medical than others. And so my question is, since the name is almost identical and this firm is out there with publications and bragging rights, where are you on that? And am I accurately reading that you're doing an almost identical process, or are you doing a license process from them?
Through the chair, Mr. Jones, it is an agreement with Manna Molecular. They create the actual patch. All the cannabis is created at Good LLC, grown by Good LLC, and applied to the patch, and the packaging is finished. They create the actual material that it goes on. So just like we don't produce our own packaging for any of our other products.
And that brings up the question of I guess,
at the last meeting, we had requested to review the licensing agreement, which we do generally when a licensee is licensing a product from another company.
And you have done that?
No, because it was denied, so we didn't have to do it. But I would ask that be part of the delegation should you approve this.
Okay, thank you.
May I ask, I was under the impression that it had been sent to staff. Did staff not receive?
It hadn't gotten to me, so if you submitted it to the examiners, great.
Okay, yep.
So Manna Molecular, do they manufacture the technology for this patch? Is it devised as and I'm not asking this question with kind of prejudice, is Manna Molecular a pharmaceutical firm, or have they devised this patch and its technology for the cannabis industry?
They are not a pharmaceutical firm. This patch has been utilized in the cannabis industry before.
Okay, and so that's who their market is, as far as you know.
As far as I know.
The better part of it is the cannabis industry. Okay. I see that you have to mark on the label their name, but that's part of your agreement, I guess.
And if I may address something that was your concern at the last meeting, any sort of language that could be misconstrued as having medical benefits, we made sure to go through and remove.
Okay. The menthol camphor, methyl silicate, mineral oil, and nucleic acid, that's already contained in the patch?
Yes. Well, it is not on the patch. It is separate, but it is applied with the concentrate oil to the patch.
Okay, but does it come from them, or do you guys provide that?
It comes from them.
It comes from them. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Because that's kind of the transport mechanism, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. I'm a little better. I'm still not enamored with it.
So?
What do you think, Mr. Jones? Feeling any better for you?
I'm trying to understand this, and it's hard. And I know that, nicotine patches work, and I know that, certain other medications work, and oftentimes doctors will prescribe some certain things that are dose released that way. What I read on the MANA site is bioavailability. It talks about each patch is formulated to extract the maximum benefit of the whole plant cannabis extract. I'm not sure that that tells me anything, and it's certainly not part of what I see and hear. We require a scientific director for a testing, but this sounds like pretty scientific application and a process for a manufacturer for me. It's not just a baking formula or a pressing thing. I hope that the licensing agreement and stuff is done. And I know this is done through 3D printing, so I assume you have some expected outcome, i.e., so much of an active ingredient that would be absorbed. My question is, how or have you talked to, how is this product tested? I mean, you're going to get a patch from somebody, and then you're going to 3D print, and the 3D print is going to put the marijuana on the patch. And I assume that concentrate or whatever is put on the patch has been tested, so you sort of know in the formula of how much to put on the patch. How then is a testing lab going to test that pouch? I don't quite understand how they might do that. And have you talked to the testing labs? Do they have the ability to do that, they think?
Through the chair, Mr. Jones, we have worked with the testing lab on multiple items that we have had approved by the board, and sometimes it takes, we generally work with CanTest, and it generally takes them a while to come up with protocol for any new item that is brought to them. They have to have it in their hands before that they can confirm and verify their testing methods. I won't speak to CanTest testing methods, but before it would ever reach the market, it would have to go through them, and they would have to say with confidence that they can test the product and feel confident in their testing results. And to speak with the experience needed for making sure that this product is developed in the manner in which we intend to use it, I don't believe it should be considered any greater feat than making a salve or any of those other types of products.
Well, 3D printing is a technology that's gotten beyond me, but how you didn't print that on a patch, but
The printer serves essentially as a syringe or applicator. It's just not done by hand, so that you can be sure that the same amount is applied every time, so that it is more consistent.
Yeah, when you say 3D printer, you're not, well, you're putting the, what was that fancy word for the menthol sample? Yeah.
Yep.
So you actually combine those with the cannabis oil, right?
Yes, sir.
And so you already, if you're making a 30 milligram patch, you already know how many patches you're going to run, right? And so you know how much of your tested cannabis oil you got to put in there. So actually, when it says 3D printer, and I think we got somebody who knows a little bit about printers in here. When it says 3D printer, all it's doing is it's spraying that one or two layers, not building a structure or nothing. It would be the same thing as almost any an inkjet printer, right? I mean, essentially. So I don't think the term 3D printer is really of any concern. It's just a jet printer. And that's all a 3D printer is the material it sprays out, is scheduled by the computer and by the design, and it just builds it up. So I think it's basically the same thing, right? So the
excipient.
Yeah, the excipient is provided by Manna to you.
Yes, sir.
And that's their proprietary formulary, right? Okay, and those items, methylsilicate is, so those are all, consumer things. And we are allowed to approve patches. They're a product that's allowed, and they are topical. I mean, when somebody puts any of the salves or balms, not balms, but balms that we've approved, they don't put it on their hands topical because it smells nice. They put it on because, again, they have a personal expectation that there's going to be some kind of result. And a person who would use this would be using it because they have a expectation that there's going to be a result. Balms and salves that we've approved also have say that word one more time.
Excipient.
Yeah, the contents of those are basically excipients, right? They help.
Yes, sir.
They help transport the active ingredient. So, my thinking is changing a little bit on this. The manufacturing process really is no big deal. Printer's a printer. And we do want staff to see that license agreement.
Certainly.
And so at this point, I don't think I'm too concerned about this because, again, it is something that's allowed. I think I've had a chance to think and see that it's not being marketed as a medical thing. It's just something that is in some respects less greasy than something you might put on.
And again, I'm pretty happy with this product. You go through the packaging, they've done a good job of cleaning it up. There's nowhere in here that it indicates it's for medical purposes. And, maybe I make it sound too simple, but to me this is packaging, right? He's packaging a product to deliver it to a customer, how they choose to use it. And it's clear the regulations contemplated it because as he brought the regulation, it says patches. So, not sure what else to say. I just think it's a good product, and I know it's pretty popular in the lower 48, and there's no reason we shouldn't be having them here.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question? So we have received the licensing agreement. Hasn't been reviewed yet. Is it a requirement of the licensing agreement that Manna's website be on the packaging?
I don't quote me on that. I don't believe so. I'd have to review it myself.
Okay. Because looking at the website, it's very subtle, but there are a few references to, so I'm just looking, treatment of chronic and acute conditions. But generally, it's not very medical focused. So that's really the only thing that, and it's definitely a step away. Someone would have to see that website and then choose to go to it and then really read through. So I'm not sure if the board would think that's a problem, but that's really the only thing that I would note.
Unless there's some big desire to remove it, I actually would prefer for the customer, if they wanted to know more, to know where to go. I mean, it's nice to, if they had more questions, they could just say, go here, instead of them trying to explain it, or my shop employees trying to explain it.
So a patch is an application of a concentrate. So the maximum 5 milligram dose issue doesn't apply.
That's how I would interpret it.
I noticed they were doing 10, 20, 30 milligram
and it's
doses.
It's a topical, so it's not an edible.
Right, okay.
And they do say right on their website, evolved cannabis medicines. But there are, let's not forget, the reason we avoid talking about medicinal marijuana is because we don't have a medicinal marijuana program. Other states do. This is a licensed product. If people, caveat emptor, that's why you want to have, if it's a licensed product, yeah, maybe all licensed products should have the license website for the customer. People are going to get off cruise ships and they're going to say, oh, have you got patches that they want to use for one reason or another? The only thing that I might be concerned about is that this doesn't have any kind of labeling on the patch, does it? Is there any imprinting on the patch itself?
No, sir.
Okay, so the only concern I would have from a public health and safety standpoint is kids saying, oh yeah, that couldn't be more discreet. And so if there was some way even to have a, we've talked about having contains THC, indicators on edibles, even if it was just a little small, maybe you guys' logo on there, not very big, but enough so that, somebody could say, what's this you have on your arm, Johnny? And so that would be my only concern there is, because it looks like a big Band-Aid. So I would say you guys should maybe think about that a little bit.
Certainly, Mr. Chair, your point is well received, and we'll have to speak with Mana since they will be providing the patch to see if that is something that would be possible. Okay. But I think that's a very valid point.
Because you're buying the patches for them too, aren't you?
Yeah, the packaging portion.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other discussion on this? We have a motion.
Motion to approve new product, or new topical, for license number 10165, Good LLC.
With delegation.
Well, they've already approved, they've already sent it, what delegation?
With delegation. Yeah, with delegation. And part of the delegation is you'll get back to staff on what Mana thinks about labeling the patch itself in some fashion.
Sure.
Not talking about big, huge letters, but something so that it's identifiable as...
Certainly.
Okay. All right, are we ready to vote? Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
And I'm a yes, so...
Thank you very much for your time.
You bet. Yeah, just keep in mind, this is a ground-baking product here, so... Okay, cool. All right, Royal Mountain Extracts. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, you know what, we're gonna take a break. 10:45, we've been sitting here for a few minutes. Oh, it's taking forever.
We only got 2 more to do.
Did he actually say how long?
He said 10 minutes.
15.
Did not like it.
I know you didn't, and,
Sorry? Joe?
Hello, can you hear us?
Hi.
Yeah, we haven't come back into session yet. We're just taking a break. All right, we are, back on Marijuana Control Board. We're at tab 91, Royal Mountain Extracts. They look like they are in front of us.
Janet Waldine.
And Sam Benson. We just have one new product that we are trying to get approved, and it really is just a new form of packaging for an already approved product, our Refine Alaska Loud Resin. And we just really wanted to reduce the overall packaging, since that's kind of the big waste right now in the industry, is the amount of packaging that we create. So this allows us to put 7 grams of the Refine Alaska concentrate into a jar, as opposed to just the single gram that is the already approved product. And then that allows us to bring it at a lower price because we're reducing the overall packaging.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
That was my problem with this. The product name is Refined Loud Jars. And then I was reading through, and I'm trying to figure out what the world we were actually approving. And the description here is, this is an approved product, and we're going to put it in a different packaging. I don't know that you changed the product name to put it in a new packaging. So my notes is, what are we approving? What are we really being asked to do here?
So what you're really being asked to do here is approve a 7-gram concentrate product. That's going to be branded as a 7-gram concentrate, which is the maximum amount that you can purchase in one day.
7-gram product. Okay, watch out.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
Yeah, never mind.
So the Refine Loud Resin is the approved product, and what my client wants to call this is Refine Loud Jars, and it's like this jar of 7 grams. So it's a different product name. It's not the same product name. Same product, different packaging, different amount.
Therefore, a different name.
Correct.
Is Refine a license? Are you guys the ones with the licensing agreement?
Yes, and Harry and I have worked through that, and that got approved through Harry I don't remember when, but a while ago.
Yeah. They let you make any size you want.
Yes, it's covered in the licensing agreement.
Is the product name Refine? Like, I don't see Loud Jars on the labeling.
So the product name under Section 2 is Loud Jars. And, and we should have it on the label. That should be a delegated item. Thank you, Erica.
So this Refine X Snow-Capped Gardens Bowser is not the product that you're requesting approval for?
No, because you've already approved that. What we're asking for is the product name to be the Loud.
Right. So the sample
jar.
label you gave us is
off.
Yeah.
The Refine X Snowcap Gardens is just us explaining which cultivator that we worked with. Then that black and white label would be on the bottom of the jar, and the blue one would go on the top. And then on the blue one on the top, we can include the actual product name, the Refined Loud Jar, so it's right on top that you would see.
Would that replace the word Bowser?
We would put it then under where we already have Refine X and Snowcap Gardens. Since we already have that on the bottom label, it doesn't need to be redundant.
I mean, I guess I'm confused about what all the words on the label actually are. I mean, Refine is the company that you're licensing the product from. What is Bowser?
Oh, that's the strain name.
The strain
Yeah,
name.
I guess I should have just put a generic strain name instead of an actual strain I'm working with.
And so the name of your business is Royal Mountain Extracts?
Mm-hmm.
Correct, and our DBA is Extracted Laboratories.
Okay, neither of which appear on the label.
It has our license number on the bottom. And we can add our business name.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's see. No, it says Refine Alaska. The black one says Refine X Snowcap Gardens. The other one says Refine Alaska. Yeah, it's got your license number on there. Snowcap Gardens is the cultivator, though.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I guess, is this the way all your labeling is? It doesn't say, I mean, when you go to a retailer and offer them a product, who do they what brand name are they pushing? Are they pushing Refine is the brand name that you're manufacturing?
Everything that we have has an Extracted Laboratories logo on it, which is our DBA and our business name. And then Refine is a sub-brand that we have created. And then our Refine packaging has Refine on it as well as the Extracted Laboratories logo. So we could include that somewhere on this packaging.
Yeah, I mean, we want some, please provide some accurate labeling.
Yeah, the 306570 requires for each package of marijuana products sold to a retail marijuana store for resale to a consumer, the label has to have the name and license number of the product manufacturing facility.
Yeah, we can definitely add that.
Yes, you could. Okay.
So just to recap, the delegated items are add to the label, the doing business as name, and the Loud Resin Jars product name.
Yep. Yeah, the name of the actual product, yes. Any other questions on Royal Mountain Extracts, Refined Loud Jars? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve license number 13249, one new product.
Okay.
We'll get to the right page.
With delegation.
With delegation.
Delegation.
Correct the name issues on the label.
Okay, Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
And I'm a yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. Okay, Waken Bakery.
Good morning, Chris Wilhelm with the Waken Bakery.
You got a stack of them here for us?
Yeah. He had a few ideas.
Anybody on the line that we want to get to?
I think my wife was going to try to participate.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
This is Tia Wilhelm. I'm available by phone.
Okay, wonderful. You know what we'll do? We'll go and turn the phone off just to keep it quieter, and if there's something your husband can't answer, then happy to bring in the expert.
Thank you.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
We got 12 items, all edibles except for your one topical.
Okay, we want to add, we want to diversify our menu a little bit so that we're not just doing cookies and caramels. We'd like to bring in some fruit chews. So we have one here called chocolate chews. It'd be in a variety of different flavors and some primary colors, just ordinary berry flavors. We've got some hard candies listed here too, the Arctic Thunder and then a sugar-free Arctic Thunder. You have the list in front of you, don't you?
Yeah, we should.
Okay.
Should do.
I'm just going down the list here with the consumer stuff. The Northern Lightning cannabis gummies, the sugar-free chocolate chip cookie. We already have a we already have a chocolate chip cookie, so we're just going to add a sugar-free cookie. The gluten-free cannabis almond cookies, the gluten-free cannabis mocha chocolate chip cookie, which is really good, even in the gluten-free variety. And then for in-house use, we've got a couple of infused cannabis products, cannabis-infused alcohol, infused glycerin, and infused vegetable shortening, just for the production end of it.
Okay, you're not going to be wholesaling those, are you?
No.
Okay. Are you guys going to be infusing Everclear? What kind of alcohol are you using?
Infusing what?
What kind of alcohol are you going to be using?
We get just a denatured alcohol from a local supplier, food grade.
Are you currently producing products?
We are.
And they're in stores?
Yes, they are.
And the reason I'm asking that is, we just spent on one product considerable time talking about the labels and all that stuff. And this is like a sample label, but I don't see a picture of sort of do you have a logo on there, how it's actually done on certain products. And we've had a lot of discussion from enforcement about people changing packaging and colors and stuff, and we've just had the discussion and just sort of see this mock-up. If you've already got products out there, you already have logos, you could have a photograph of an existing label and say this is how this turns into that. Would be helpful for me anyway.
Okay.
When you come in for new products, if you've got one out there, I assume maybe staff already has a picture of it, but for me, it's hard to visualize how all of this words, might show up on a package of a piece of candy.
You have a combined product spreadsheet on your computers, so you could also look, but I'm looking to see.
Yeah, we have an established brand. The Awaken Bakery has a series of products that are already out, and there's a standard kind of a template that we use for the products. So it would be something very similar to that if it doesn't show up with what you have there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the meeting folder.
Well, we've had several requests for gluten-free products and people who have diabetic condition are interested in products and they can't
Page
consume.
61, pardon me.
Go right ahead.
Page 61 of what's in your folder.
So you've just been doing 2 products up to now?
I'm sorry?
You only have had 2? How many products have you got right now?
We have 10
Oh, do you have 10?
Yeah, we have 5 cookies and 5 caramels
Oh,
that are licensed.
oh yeah. Well,
We have pictures of 3,
Okay.
so if you haven't sent in
Well,
pictures of your others.
it shows the label on here.
Right, but we expect pictures of all of them, so if you haven't sent in pictures of them all, please do.
Yeah. It shows the front label. Actually, why don't you do everybody a favor, and when you send her the new pictures, make sure you send a back label picture too. And we kind of probably would like that from all the product manufacturers, just front and back.
Okay.
Take your, when you get around to it. All right. So same label, the rooster and the.
Yep.
Ready? You do have the label for the time bottom on here. So the tincture will be packaged in a Mylar bag?
It'll be in a Mylar bag, yeah, and it's in a
bottle.
dropper bottle that has indicated on the dropper delivery mechanism what the dosage should be for 5 milligrams per dose.
Okay, any other questions about, these products or processes? Got a motion?
Motion to approve products edibles 1 through 9, topical 10, and edibles 11 and 12 for license number 13697 with delegation.
Okay. Ready to vote? Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
I'm a yes, so consider yourself diversified.
All right, thank you very much.
You bet. Okay, Arctic Bakery. And then, shockingly enough, we'll be just about done. Morning.
Good morning, Dave Lanning from Arctic Bakery. I'm the manager and a member.
Dana Alcine.
We do for you.
Like to get approval for 2 new products.
Okay.
So one of them is a simple pre-roll of 2 or 3 different sizes, half, 3/4, 1 gram. Pre-rolled in a cone, sold in a Duke tube, called the Arctic Cooler. And the other is kind of the same product, except infused with some oil and a little keef, called the Arctic Heater.
And the oil and the keef are previously approved products for this licensee.
This is a question for clarification for me. If the pre-roll doesn't have anything, that's just packaging,
Well,
right?
this is a manufacturing license, so I think technically it's a new product.
I mean, it would have to be a product if it's coming out of a manufacturing license.
But thank you.
Yeah, what are you making now? I'm trying to find.
We haven't opened yet.
Oh, that's why you're not on the list.
We'd love to be making something, right? We're approved for mostly some hard candies and some chocolates infused.
All right.
And they're located in Fairbanks.
I hear Fairbanks is nice in the summertime. Yeah, July specifically, that's right. Yeah, you've been there, huh? Okay, any questions about these 2 products? Hearing any other motion?
Motion to approve 2 new products for license 16006 Arctic Bakery.
All right, Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
I'm a yes, which brings us to the...
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so, tab 95 is still on hold.
Mr. Chair, the licensee has requested another postponement of that hearing. They are still essentially in litigation with the landlord. So no matter what, unless the board decides that all these product was to be destroyed, if the board determined that some was to be given back, there's no place to give it back to, so.
Could we, I take it that enforcement's probably monitoring the condition of the product. There's a variety of products that are seized, right? Some which need to be refrigerated and some don't?
There's mostly concentrates and leaf and and flour and trim.
Right.
And we do have a refrigerator, and the concentrates are being contained in the refrigerator.
All right.
So we are doing our best to store the product in a reasonable condition as required.
Okay. All righty. All right, so that brings us to marijuana mailbox. I said noon yesterday, didn't I? Why, yes, I did. Well, we'll just take these one by one. So what the marijuana mailbox has got. What is somebody sent their application to the marijuana mailbox? Okay. Sent a bunch of applications to marijuana. What the heck? Oh, there's some marijuana mail. Okay. Oh, here we go. Blockchain. Somebody wants to bring blockchain to the cannabis industry in Alaska. Yeah, I think we gotta talk some more about the waste regulations. I think there are a couple of good issues in here. It's just not the good old marijuana mailbox. Don't see any of the regulars in here anymore. These are ugly pictures, though. What the heck, man? Some moldy product in here. Jeez.
Yeah, I think we do need to do something on our waste regulations.
Turn your microphone on.
I do think we need to do something for the waste regulations, you know, the weather up here and some of the size of the facilities, storing some of this product for 3 days when it is moldy or has other problems, typically turns into a much larger problem for cultivation. So, I don't know if that's on our list, but we should get it on there.
You don't currently have an open project for waste disposal.
Probably start one.
Okay, anything in here jump out at anybody? I see there's a nice little Imprimis article. Okay, well, thank you to everybody who has taken the time to do the marijuana mailbox. So, any closing comments, Ms. Jones?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just, I appreciate the work the staff did on this one, and I really appreciated the product list, and that was actually quite helpful. And I also appreciated getting a lot of the applications early. Wish I'd started reading them earlier. But it was hard to fill in once I got the full Zendu, what I'd read and what I hadn't, but that's more my issue. Just a couple other comments. During the meeting, we tabled the fine schedule, and so I can work out or let the director let me know when she would like to sit down and talk about that, and I will try to review the public comments and pay attention and sort of get my ideas together before that. Also, I had been on the committee, I think maybe with Nick in terms of the financial regs, and I know those are still in draft form, and we probably need to get something together on that one. And it could be that September, or, a lighter agenda, because that may take a while to sort of ponder through. And then the other thing is, and this may be just me, and my sort of skepticism of the industry, but we spent a lot of time when we were looking at the regs in terms of dose and edibles, and then we talked a lot about concentrates, and you really wouldn't have doses on those, and we talked about the total that could be sold. We talked about sort of how to measure those. I think in our regulations it says X amount of grams of concentrate or whatever. But the more I see on products that are basically pre-rolled bud and flower, and then some oil, and then rolled in keef, and then something else, and I'm thinking to myself, are we approving products that, end up with a THC content that's way beyond what a casual user or a non-user. And I'm just wondering if we need to take a look at that. Are we getting to the point where the industry is looking, okay, well, we got this one approved, so the next one will do a double dose of oil, and I'm just wondering if there's something we need to think about as, we are to protect the public. And if we're approving a product that maybe in an experienced hand is okay, but in an inexperienced hand could cause them harm, overdose. I mean, not an overdose in the sense of what a lot of people talk about, but I mean, having a reaction to what they thought was a product that would make them feel good, it didn't. And so I just raise that as an issue. I don't have a solution. I don't even know if it's an issue. But I do think it's something that we need to think about at some point of how we might deal with that, and not necessarily leave it up to the quote quality of the bud tender selling the product, of understanding who they're selling it to and the conditions or cautions they might put on that. Maybe there's different warnings that we put on there. Maybe there's different risks that we would need to add to the label on something like that. I don't know. But that has been sort of bothering me the last couple of times when we've gone through, and we just approved some products that sort of fall into that category. So I just want to bring that up as something to think about. And again, that may be mine, but from a public health perspective, one wants to make sure that there's a product out there that, when used according to quote package directions, or when used by experienced users, is okay, but inexperienced, it could cause some problems, and I think we need to think about that. And other than that, I look forward to summer in Fairbanks, right?
Okay, actually, before I recognize Mr. Miller, you can see that resolution so we can consider it.
And also, Mr. Chair, I
Yes,
think
ma'am.
at one point you expressed some interest in opening up these meetings for public comment at the end of the meeting. I don't know if it's still your thinking, but just wanted to remind you.
Yes, thank you. It is, I don't know if we'll do it tonight, but, I'll talk about that here in a second. So, we considered a resolution in December regarding the separation of personal use of marijuana and commercial marijuana. Just read it really fast because we have a revision to it that we may or may not have already voted on. Do you remember voting on this today or yesterday, Friday, whatever?
I didn't mark anything down, but and I know we had talked about purchasing versus the market, and that. I don't remember if we actually took any action.
I think the change is this is paragraph 3, right? Where an applicant for a testing facility may, after approval by the board, but before the license is issued and effective, bring small amounts of marijuana and marijuana product onto the licensed premises for the purpose of validating test results. The testing facility applicant may not perform any tests for any licenses or individuals before the license is issued and effective. The remainder of this is what was passed in December.
That's correct.
So is there any objection to the inclusion of this new paragraph allowing purchase of small amounts of marijuana, bring it in for validation purposes?
Not for me.
Okay. Signed, sealed, delivered. Thank you very much. Well, Mr. Miller.
Again, I always like to thank the staff. I know they're working very hard. I mean, we had 100 tabs, and we got through them relatively quickly, and that's mostly due to their work. It's also due to a lot of the applicants' work as well. Applications are getting much better, so hopefully we'll have a full board in July. That would be nice. And that's about it.
Which could slow us down.
Maybe somebody asked the governor to just make it a 3-member board. So, thank you, Erica and Michael and Harriet, and thank the rest of the staff for us. We'd be slogging through. I mean, I have every confidence that when we get an application, it is complete, and that if there were any issues that really needed to come to light, they'd either be in the memo, or we'd hear about them some other way. So, and all you've got to do is look at the correspondence file and see how much work the staff puts in with the applicants on these. And I think we have one thing that we haven't heard for several meetings is any grousing from the industry, which I really like. I mean, clearly applications are going through timely. I think my perception at least is that right now industry and the office have got a very good working relationship at all levels. So I really appreciate that. Yeah, Harriet kind of spilled the beans. So at the meeting starting in July, now I see them spill the beans. I was going to mention it. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, is that maybe we should take public comment at the end of the meeting too. And kind of as a quality control measure, sometimes issues will come up, and I want to start hearing more from the industry about, this maybe think about this kind of regulatory change or this kind of policy. I mean, a lot of times we have people sitting up here at the table who will, after they get their license, the red light's still on. They say, I've got another question too, and that's cool. That's cool. But maybe we can do that a little bit more. We'll open up, 15 minutes at the end of the meeting, and I mean, not a big crowd usually, but we are going to offer an opportunity for folks to come up and basically talk about things that happened during the meeting, issues that might have come up, things that come to mind for us to start considering. At the next meeting, as a reminder, we're going to have about an hour of public comment on the fine schedule. So I'll be thinking about that. From the written comment we got, there are, both sides on that. I don't know how many applications we're going to have. I mean, we'll have renewals, right? But, those are usually fairly simple. So yeah, we'll set some time aside and just be listening, and something, and you've heard me use a few times over this meeting the term best practices. I'd really like to see like AMIA or somebody as a vehicle start to say, look, we all do this and we all do it the same way, but some of us do it different. But it would be a lot easier for everybody if you could, when you ask how you do it, if you ask 3 people how you do it, they all do it the same way. Okay, I mean, we want to be, we still got big things coming up, right? We got on-site consumption coming up. The city of Las Vegas, I think, just approved yesterday. The Las Vegas City Council just approved on-site consumption. Casinos don't like it, but oh well. So think about that. Best way to do things, whether it's the best way to deal with, community council in Anchorage, or the best way to take pictures of labels to put in your applications. I mean, there's a whole number of things. So we want to be, really, we're at the point now, there is some uncertainty because we've got two new members coming on, and I think we can all work with them. I know all of you can work with them. There's going to be some learning curve, but there always is. Lieutenant Jaime, we know he's coming. He's made a comment or two, I guess, in the press, and we'll see what goes on there. And we got no clue who the governor's going to appoint after the session's over. But it'll be an interesting meeting in July. But I also made the comment that we're kind of getting at a point now where regulations are going to have to evolve. So one of the things we're going to do at the next meeting is our statute says one of our duties is to study the statute in light of changing conditions in the state. And the same thing goes with the regulations. So, we may have over the next, I always say 5 years, the next 5 years we might want to see, somebody might want to see increases in doses for edibles. There's a lot of things that'll some will get loosened up and some will get tightened up, but they will be to the benefit of the entire state, and to the commerce in the industry. All right, well, gee whiz, it's
Mr. Chair?
so late. Yes.
May I say something?
Yes, please do.
Thank you. The board, I can't remember if you formally opened it, but you certainly asked us to start working on a regulations project that addresses issues that were raised during the public comment period regarding bringing small children onto licensed premises, breastfeeding, that sort of thing. Fine. I would request that you put some thought before the next meeting into possibly amending the definition of recreation and youth center. We tried that once before, and the project failed and went away. But now we have a situation where a licensed premises has to be 500 feet away from a facility that may have babies and one-year-olds, and yet you're considering allowing babies and one-year-olds on site, and yet we had a situation today where a licensed premises was allowed to be very, very close to a business where a lot of teenagers spend a lot of time, but that facility wasn't licensed, and so it doesn't qualify. And so I find myself wondering, well, what is the purpose of the separation distance? What do you want the separation distance to be from when you're speaking of people under 21, youth, children? I find myself like, I guess I don't really understand anymore. So some clarity from the board, I think, would be useful because it looks like we're heading in a direction where things don't fully make sense, at least to me. And nothing has to change, but I think it's something that's worth thinking about.
Let's put that on as an agenda item, at least a discussion item. Because that does make kind of a strange conflict. You can bring a infant in to an office area at the same time you're supposed to be 500 feet from. But again, that's one of those things that we're just going to have to continue to deal with, and I think we can, and put it on the agenda. Okay, so I think that is all I had.
Mr. Chair, if we're going to talk about that issue, then maybe staff could go back. We had a lot of discussion when the regulations were being written, and we were reviewing the regulations about distances and definitions. There was a lot of back and forth, so there may be some good minutes, there may be some other things. We talked about schools, we talked about the federal drug-free zones, which is 1,000 feet. We talked about alcohol regs. In some cases are only 250. I think our compromise was 500. So between 5 of us at the time, I think you and I are the 2 left that were participating in that discussion. So if we're going to talk about it, I'd like to have some documentation about what was the tenor of our discussions, maybe from the minutes, and then maybe what some other rules are. I know that with Office of Children's Services, Office of Juvenile Services, our definition says, licensed to provide guidance. Being a public health and a former substance abuse providers, I understand guidance. You're talking about, mental health, substance abuse treatment. You're talking about treatment programs. It's not like guidance on how to get into college. It's not those kinds of things. So I do think we need to have some discussion and maybe some search of how does juvenile justice define a youth center? How does Office of Children's Services define that? What are the definitions in daycare rules? We in Juneau are looking at trying to jump in as a city to expand the amount of daycare. And we try to deal with that in Juneau with zoning. So, you wouldn't have daycare in a commercial zone. You don't have marijuana in a residential zone where you have most of your daycare. So, but at the same time, I think there's some background information that we could use that would help us in the discussion rather than us sit here and take from memory and things like that and talk for an hour and then ask for documentation. I'd rather get it up front.
Great, thank you. Anything else to come before the board? Not seeing anything. It is 11:30 and we are adjourned.